Have you ever had a great idea for an app and just wished you could, speak it into existence? Forget all the syntax, forget the boilerplate code, just pure creative flow from your brain to the screen. Well, that future might be a lot closer than you think, and it has a name: vibe coding. So in this explainer, we're going to break down vibe coding. It's a method where the AI does the heavy lifting of actually writing the code, and your job is to be the creative director, the guide. We're going to see how it works, what it can build, and we'll separate the hype from the reality. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what vibe coding actually is. Then, we'll watch a pretty cool idea become a real app. After that, I'll walk you through how to start your very own vibe session. Then we got to get real about the hype versus the reality. And finally, we'll look at what this all means for the next chapter of coding.
Okay, let's start with the big question. What exactly is vibe coding? And trust me, this isn't just about a new tool. It's a completely new way to think about making software.
So this term comes from OpenAI co-founder Andrej Karpathy, and this quote, it just says it all. He talked about this state where you fully give in to the vibes and you forget that the code even exists. I mean, think about that. You're not debugging line by line, you're just steering the AI with high-level ideas. So let's put a more formal definition on it. Vibe coding is basically a way of developing where you just describe what you want in plain English and an AI assistant spits out the code. It's like having a conversation. Your job totally shifts from being a typist to being a creative guide, just iterating super fast to bring an idea to life.
That all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in practice? Well, let's check out the very app that Karpathy built using this exact method. It's a project he called MenuGen.
You've been there. We've all been there. You're looking at a fancy menu, reading something like confit tubers folded with matured curd, and you have absolutely no clue what's about to land on your table. Karpathy wanted to use AI to solve this simple, super relatable problem. And here's how the magic happened. First, you snap a photo of the menu and upload it. Then, GPT-4 Vision reads it and pulls out all the menu items. For each dish, a different model generates a realistic photo, and another AI even takes a guess at the nutritional info. And boom, it's all displayed in this clean visual interface. The whole thing was put together not by writing tons of code, but just by vibing with the AI.
But, and this is a big but, here's the reality check, and this is straight from Karpathy himself. He said that while creating it was exhilarating and fun, actually turning that prototype into a real deployed app was a painful slog. Turns out, most of his time wasn't even in the code, but in web browsers, messing with settings and API keys.
So, you've seen the dream, and you've seen the reality. Now what if you want to try this yourself? Let's walk through the tools and techniques you're going to need to kick off your first vibe session.
Okay, to get started, you need the right toolkit. We're talking about AI native code editors like Cursor. You'll also want an AI assistant that plugs right into your workflow, like GitHub Copilot. And of course, the real engines here are those big LLM chatbots. That's large language models like ChatGPT and Claude.
You know, the key is to treat the AI like a partner, not a magician. Start with the big picture, then add the details. Give it concrete examples. Actually show it what you mean. If the task is huge, break it down into smaller jobs. And pro tip, if a chat gets confusing, just start a new one. Keep the context clean. Here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. A bad prompt is just, fix this bug. That's useless. But look at the good prompt. It explains the function, the specific error, exactly what causes it, and tells the AI precisely how to handle it. When you're prompting, context and clarity are everything. Okay, so now you know how to get started. But before you dive in, we need to talk about the pitfalls. Let's really separate the hype from the cold, hard reality and navigate the promises versus the very real risks. First up, this is a super important distinction. Pure vibe coding, where you're not really looking at the code, is awesome for low-stakes prototypes where you just want to be fast and creative. But professional AI-assisted development, that's a different game. The goal there is quality, which means you have to review, understand, and be able to defend every single line the AI writes for you. And the risks are no joke. Security is the biggest worry, because AIs can accidentally copy security holes from public code they were trained on. Then you've got major legal and IP issues, like who even owns the copyright, or something called license contamination, where the AI slips in code with a restrictive license. And without a human watching, the overall quality can just tank. An experiment from ThoughtWorks really drives this point home. Look at this. When developers just did pure vibe coding, the final product was barely testable or maintainable. But when they added high discipline, things like requiring tests and code reviews, the quality score shot through the roof. The human in the loop makes all the difference. To put a really fine point on that security risk, one report estimates that AI tools could be creating as many as 100,000 new security flaws every single day. Shipping code you haven't reviewed from an AI is like leaving your front door wide open with a sign that says, "Come on in."
So where does that leave us? What does this all mean for the next chapter of coding? And more importantly, what is your role going to be in this new AI-assisted world?
The path forward is actually pretty clear. You have to treat the AI like a very fast but very inexperienced junior developer. It needs clear instructions and constant supervision. That human oversight is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to enforce discipline with things like testing and reviews. Your role is evolving. You're no longer just the typist. You are the architect, the reviewer, and the guide.
And this all leaves us with a really fascinating question. For decades, we've thought of software as something that we build. Like an engineer builds a bridge. But with vibe coding, it feels different. It feels more like something we plant and nurture and grow. So, is the future of software built, or is it grown?
If you want to keep up with more of these cutting-edge AI workflows and what they mean for you, make sure to subscribe to How AI. Thanks for watching.